All right. So this is episode 49 with the Public Therapy Podcast. It's just me today. Raven somewhere in London doing whatever she wants to do down there. I'm just playing. She's out there with some friends. She'll probably pop in later in the episode. But today we have with us the homie Jen, whom is a drug addiction counselor, DJ, as well as a mom. And then, like we joked around earlier, she's pretty much put the title of social worker, and then everything under that she does that as well. She's basically a social worker. Well, I guess we both are. So what's up, Jen? How you doing?
Good. It's good to see you. Last time I saw you were in fucking Qatar. Yeah, listening to stories about people being sexually harassed in the middle of the desert.
Last time we saw each other was in DC for like a hot second last year.
Yeah, that's right. I was going through a fucking divorce, so I couldn't even think. I didn't even know where I was.
You were pretty quiet too.
Yeah, that's just brain on trauma. I think you don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever been through a divorce, but it fucks you up.
Yeah, no. Totally. Yeah, I can't imagine what that would be like, and we'll get into that one a little bit later. So what have you been up to these days? So you still got your green bean coffee cup? Oh
yeah, I got my green bean Afghanistan coffee cup because
only a few people know about that cup.
The green bean. Yeah, shoot. Today I'm on leave, so that's kind of nice. For a while there, we couldn't take leave. I've got a dog here snoring.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm here in Alaska. It's supposed to be summer, but it's really cold. It's like 60 degrees. So I've got leave for the next 5 days. My sister was supposed to come up last night from Vegas, and something got in the way that I don't know if she's ready to come out of the closet about, but
okay.
Stigma around COVID, right? So, we're really bummed about not being able to be together, but it was a responsible thing to do. So I'm kind of like lost for the next 5 days. And I'm like, should I just get lost? Should I just get in my freaking kayak and just get out on the water? Or should I just put a mask on and hang out with my DJ friends? Or like, what's Jen want to do? I don't know. So
I've been keeping up with you on social media. It seems like you get out pretty often though. You seem very adventurous.
I am, and I'm not. Like, and I think DJs are weird. Like we're 100% indoorsy, but we have to put on this character every now and then, and like pretend that we're like these characters that are outdoorsy and energetic.
Okay.
But it's almost like being an actor and actress.
Yeah, you gotta put on a persona. Gotta put on a persona for the people. Help with your There's like a part of your marketing techniques and stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you're giving, and then at some point you have to come back in and plug your body in and recharge.
Yeah, but for you to have such a little frame, I'm sorry, I don't know, get that out of here. For you to have such a little frame, you have such a big personality though. I don't see you as, even like when you're not in your DJ world, you're still pretty energetic. That's one thing I noticed when I first met you back in Qatar a couple years ago.
Yeah. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I mean, I think that people have the personality that they present to others. Have the personality that the real them, right? And when I'm by myself, and my son's at baby mama's, 50-50 custody.
Right.
I actually am pretty serious. And like I have a lot of fucking thoughts.
Yeah.
Sometimes my energy is big, sometimes it's small. According to my therapist, it's not clinical. So I guess I'm able to do it this way. Yeah.
I'm glad you just said what you said too, because people think I'm not a therapist, obviously, but people think that have the stigma about going to therapists and seeing therapists and stuff, but you are a therapist yourself or a counselor, and you go and get the same treatment that you may get someone else. So, but it's still a stigma. I think nowadays it's starting to get a little bit normalized and stuff, but I'm glad you said that, because some people that probably listen to the Public Therapy Podcast probably still feel some type of way about going to therapists. They don't want to talk about their problems with someone else. They want to bottle them up and everything and things like that.
And I think that's just another closet that people live in, I've lived in closets my whole life, being lesbian, being being a same-sex parent, being a fucking, a daughter of someone with, who survived sexual exploitation in the Philippines. I mean, I'm done with closets. So if I can come out of the closet about being in therapy, that encourages someone else to come out of their closet about whatever they're in the closet about, then fuck it. I'll use my body and I'll use my voice and my power and my privilege and my social position in this world to help them come out of the closet.
Okay. And you pretty much, so, and we talked about this on the episode before, with the whole you being lesbian stuff. Now, do you feel that you were born a lesbian, or do you feel like, or was there like, some people say that they encountered some trauma that forced them into being homosexual?
Okay, so if I say anything, I love this learning experience we're about to have right now.
Okay.
I'm about to give you some wokeness right now, and I'm not woker than thou. So if I say something shitty that's wrong, I want you to correct me, and then I'm going to teach you a little something too.
Okay, we got to learn something. Don't ever say homosexual.
It's just, I mean, I think language is super important, right? And like, I just took this racism class at BU, and like my professor, she was a black therapist, right?
Okay.
Female black therapist, and I was sitting in class and I said something that was incredibly racist, and I had no idea, and she was just like, "Jen, can't talk to you after class." I was like, "Oh shit!" She's
what
like,
did you?
I can't remember what I said. Something about hair. I said something about hair. And she's like, "Did you know that when you talk about a black woman's hair, like there's history behind that?" And just gave me the spiel. And I was like, thank you. Thank you for teaching me.
Yeah. I just learned within this past year to not call what people, the popular thing to call locks is dreadlocks, right? But I didn't know that dreadlocks, saying the word dread means dreadful. And it's a disparaging term for people that have dread or people that have locks. See, I still have a hard time saying it.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, but thank you. So saying homosexual is offensive.
It can be to some. It's just an older term. I mean, my dad still, I mean, he's from Iowa, and I'm respectful of the differences in like, just the generational differences and stuff. And so like, I normally just say, "Hey Dad, can you stop saying homosexual? It's weird." And he's like, "Oh, sorry about that."
That's like something my dad would say.
"Oh, they're way too damn sensitive." And I'm like, he's an old Marine, I'm like, "All right, Dad, I'm just letting you know, like, I just don't want you to say it, to one of your clients, because he's there, and then you lose respect from your client, Dad." And he's like, "Oh shit, I didn't think about that." Right. So I'm just looking out. But yeah, so anyways, back to your question. I don't want to get tied up in that. So about me being a homosexual.
No.
Haven't known, like, dominant cultures, boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. So that's what I grew up with. I tried it out, I tried on a couple pairs of guys. Like, I held their hands. I kissed them. It was weird. I was like, and then when I was 15, I met this girl, and
you said 15?
I was 15. Yeah, I met this girl, and something felt different for me inside, and I'll never forget. Like, we were.
Hi, dog.
Is that
I just saw your dog walk out.
Oh yeah, I'm dog sitting right now. That's my therapy dog. Yeah. So like, we're sitting on the top of this hill. They call it Makeout Hill here in Anchorage, right? It's like Point Warren's off. All the teenagers go there and make out.
Okay.
So we went up there, and we didn't make out. This isn't going to get that exciting.
Oh shit! End the story then. No.
And she just like scratched my back, and it was, and like, I just felt electricity, and I was like, oh God, like, I've never felt this way, like holding a hand or anything. And I just knew, it was like, this is my chemistry. Like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Okay. I hear that more and more. I actually have a friend we grew up with, and we all knew he was gay, and it seemed like he's the only one that didn't know he was gay. But knowing what I know now, he was probably just in the closet and didn't feel comfortable saying it. But I guarantee you, if you put science stuff into it, I feel like he was born gay because he always like not, and stereotypical mannerisms that come with with some flamboyant males that are gay. Is gay? Is that a good word? Is that okay?
Yeah, I actually identify as gay usually. Yeah, because lesbian is
Okay.
a weird word, but it's cool.
Okay. But yeah, we grew up with him. We just always known him for being gay, but he was just wouldn't admit to it. But that was us being young and dumb. We were like in elementary school.
Yeah, no one teaches you, like, our parents don't say like, hey, it's just not a regular part of the conversation, but I think it's becoming more of a regular part of the conversation.
Especially now. I thought I did decent research on you, but I don't know where I saw this at. Where did I see this at? But I saw that you wrote down that you were gender fluid.
Okay.
Does that ring a bell?
I just like to be trendy. And
okay. Was that your DJ persona coming out?
Taking me way too seriously. I just like, okay, so one of my friends, she's a therapist I used to work with, Brittany. She took like a sexual, the psychology of sexual identity or something at the University of Alaska, and she like knew so much about sexual identity that I didn't know. And it's like people assume that because you're LGBTQ that you like know everything, just like people assume because you're Black you know everything, and they just
about Black, yeah.
Like, tell me about being Black. Tell me about what it means to be Black. Read a book. But yeah, I didn't take that class, and she did, and she was like, "Well, Jen, I think you're genderqueer. You seem to," and I'm like, and I didn't care that she was, helping me identify, but I also didn't know the term, and then so I started looking it up, and I read about gender fluidity, and I was like, "Oh shit, maybe I'm that." Because I do feel some sense of maleness, whatever that means. Like, I do identify strongly with my male friends. Sorry. I thought I had the do not disturb me on there. My laptop notification. I hate being interrupted by phone calls and texts. Don't you?
I don't get them. I'm a loser.
Oh man.
I would love to be interrupted by phone. No, I'm joking. No, I get it. Oh. Especially at work. That's annoying at work. You know how with our jobs, our phone just constantly ringing and stuff. Today was bad.
Now I can't see you. Zoom. There you are. Okay, so I'm gonna go. Okay. Anyway, someone from Palmer, Alaska was calling me. I don't know why I used that accent. That was probably racist as fuck. I'm sorry. Yeah, someone from Alaska calling me. That's where Sarah Palin's. That's where Sarah Palin lives.
Oh, is she? Yeah. Well, how about all those pornos they made after Sarah Palin?
There were pornos?
Not of her, but remember she was like the trendy. She had the glasses and the blonde hair, and her hair was blonde, right? Or was it brunette? Brunette, and it was like trendy to have Sarah Palin sex tapes type thing. This is like, what was that, 15 years ago?
Because you're, an attractive woman, it's like people just have to sexualize you, or even they do it to men too. It's like even when you just logged on, it's like I was like, okay, Jen, don't make any comments about how beautiful Chris looks right now, because like we always go to the looks first.
Yeah.
The character. But you do look.
You look even better with your flawless face, your little cute face. All right. So when did you move? When did you move to Alaska? Because were you born in San Diego or were you born in Alaska?
I was born in the Philippines.
You're born in the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. But you lived in You did some time in San Diego?
Yeah. I was born in the Philippines, and then my dad was in the Marine Corps, so.
That makes sense.
I'm one of those half Filipino, half white kids that
Yeah.
A lot more to that story, but we can say that for another podcast.
Well, I knew that you were Filipino. Yeah. So San Diego, yeah. So okay.
And then moved. She she migrated up to Alaska without us. There was 4 of us, and
Okay.
she in 2001 to work in a fishery, which many people moved to Alaska for fishery jobs. Fishery, um, and yeah, and then 2 out of the 4 siblings, which was myself and my brother, we ended up following her. It's just such a shitty story. It's yeah. My mom is a very courageous woman.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what's life like in Alaska? So is it just straight up outdoorsy? That's what everybody sees on TV. That's what everyone portrays it as.
Mosquitoes.
I heard your mosquitoes are super crazy out there. Like they're deathly.
Yeah, they're it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Someone from San Diego who's extra, my friend's calling extra. I'm very extra. I don't like it. I don't like the bugs. I don't like it, but I do want to like it. So like I want to be out there. Like I want to be a fisherman. I do. I want to have the sexy overalls and the extra tough boots and just slinging fucking fish and like I want that photo shoot, Chris, but I just don't want to be pooping in the woods.
Well, just bring a towel. You'll be all right.
I don't want it. I don't want that life. I want comfort. So I just go to the marketplace and buy my salmon.
Okay. All right, Jen. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
All right. So, quick question I wanted to ask you earlier when we were talking about LGBTQ. So this year it was kind of crazy with the whole racial tensions and all that stuff, right? So that happened around the same time LGBTQ month. So did it?
Memorial Day, which was I guess that was the 31st, and then
yeah. So did you feel a type of way? My contact's jacking up. Did you feel a type of way that it was overshadowed a little bit? Because I know there are still celebrations or there's still recognition when it comes in the LGBTQ world, but it seemed like everything was on pause to focus more on police brutality and blacks being treated a certain way.
Oh, I didn't even look at it that way, to be honest. Like I thought it was a wonderful opportunity for one marginalized or minoritized population to collaborate with another and to support. I think everyone needs an ally. I mean, if we look back at other movements, if we look back at other movements, they really got their momentum when they got the support of allies, when everyone got together and said, hey, we're here to support you. And when people use their power and privilege and position in our society to get behind people who don't have power and privilege.
Right.
That means using your beauty or your money or your voice or your skin color or whatever it is. For good. And that was something going back to Professor Tucker, because I just love her and I love everything she taught me in that racial justice class. She said, how will you use your privilege? Do you know what your privilege is, Jen? Or do you know what they are? And I'm like, I have no idea. And so she privilege this diagram. And she's like, you're military, you're able-bodied, you're conventionally beautiful, you are educated. She's like, you're in fucking grad school. Like, so how will you use that to support people who don't have privilege? And that really stuck with me. So going back to the LGBT thing, so how can people of this population who have push and power help address these obvious issues like wage gaps and fucking over crowding of jails of
and we're making a lot of progress in such little time that like you start with the people making jokes about okay, taking down these statues and giving and painting Black Lives Matter down the street and all the other stuff. And they're like making fun of it because it's like we never asked for that, or people are saying why this isn't changing anything or whatever. But it's statements. It's the beginning. It's like we're only 2 months in. What do you think is going to happen in the span of 2 months? Like,
Yeah, I think about Qatar. I go back to Qatar every time. I think about those little microaggressions, those tiny little hurts that we would find and we would address with commanders, right?
yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah, taking down a Confederate flag, like, oh, it's not a big deal to you, okay, but that's a tiny hurt. That's a
mm,
tiny that adds up. Those are microaggressions that add
yeah,
up. So yeah, removing them, I believe in speaking for self does make change.
right,
Um, there and so yeah, I think about this one thing I saw out there in the desert, and I mentioned it to a commander, and he's like, some people might laugh at that little thing that makes women feel like they don't belong in the
hmm,
military, perpetuates sexual harassment and sexual assault. But you know what? We're going to remove it anyway because I know that that little thing is a big thing.
right,
I respected him for that.
yeah. I mean, you got just like you said, the little something so small might piss off one person in the whole unit, but it's not going to bother. But there's people in the other unit where it doesn't bother them at all. It's going to do more good removing it to make that one person happy. Versus you're going to have the other people, yeah, they're going to complain or whatever, but they'll also be okay. They'll be
Yeah.
fine. They're not going to lose sleep overnight, but that person that's been losing sleep for the past 3 or 4 months or however long they've been in the unit is going through something. So
Yeah.
that's
And oftentimes they're really quiet, and that's the person who loses suicide. And
yeah,
I understand why this person, I did because they were the other in the room who was
yeah,
quiet. Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway,
So yeah, so let's fast forward to your so you're a drug addiction counselor.
yeah. So yeah, I was for about 7 years. I started off at a methadone clinic on accident. Like I lost my job with the National Guard, and my dad was like, "Well, come work over here." That's exactly what it sounds so.
Oh, okay.
He's a goofy, like retired Marine drill instructor who
Yeah,
turned into a methadone like treatment center counselor who saves sex workers. I mean, he's amazing.
really.
Yeah, I mean, literally, sex workers in recovery come up to me in Anchorage and say, "Your dad saved my life." But he was just like, "Well, come over here and be a counselor."
Your voice.
He's like, "Didn't you work on an ambulance?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Then you know how to be a fucking counselor, Jen." I'm
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
so, I took a job there in 2013 or 2012, and then from there, I found that I really enjoyed helping people. Um, I guess tell their story and find their story and heal from their story and uh, kind of navigate their way through heroin withdrawal and um, yeah, and then a lot of them are stigmatized. So like I really connected with people who experience being stigmatized. I mean, they don't have teeth. Some of them don't have teeth from smoking so much heroin.
Okay.
Uh, some of them don't. I mean, they don't have money. They're pregnant and injecting heroin. I mean, can you imagine what they're treated like in society? Uh,
Hmm.
so I definitely connected with that population who
When you say some of them are stigmatized, do you mean as like is the majority of them stigmatized? Like, do the majority of people look like the ones that don't have teeth or look homeless and stuff, or there's a
no,
small population?
with the most beautiful people who are addicted to heroin,
Yeah.
people with status, people with, it's just when people in their lives find out, when they come out of their closet
Hmm.
about addiction, there's just a shift. It's almost like telling someone you got tested for COVID and it was positive. It's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you didn't tell me.
Yeah. People are literally treating COVID like it's AIDS. Well, they did at first. It was almost like AIDS. Like if you had AIDS, obviously way back then, if you had AIDS, you were considered gay, right? But
So
now,
you do, you stay inside. You
Yeah.
don't talk about your addiction. So then what happens? You disconnect. You
Mm-hmm.
you die alone in your bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. It's an interesting phenomenon for me.
Yeah. Any story that you want to tell about that?
Yeah.
Any like does any story just stick out?
Well, I'm not trying to cry on the radio, Chris.
Well, good thing this ain't the radio. No, I'm playing.
Right. Not trying to cry
No,
on top.
you don't have to tell the story if you don't feel comfortable telling it. It's fine.
I have, I have one person who will always stand up for me,
Mm.
but
Yeah.
yeah, no, that's the one person who uh, motivates me every day to
Yeah.
find the right policy, the right change, to share the message.
Yeah. I'm glad you found or that you're dedicated to your job. Like you're actually passionate about it. Cause even in my field, even with me, I'm not really passionate about what it is that I do. But you know what? Every once in a while, I do get a spark whenever someone comes to my office with some type of help. Because I could be honest and say I don't really enjoy my job, and I'm saying that where hundreds of people going to hear this, right? I can honestly say that, but I do enjoy. I don't enjoy most parts of my job, I should say, but I enjoy the helping people aspect. Whenever people come in the office, then they come out, and you pretty much open up a window for them. It's like, okay, have you thought about this? Or I help that person out as far as identifying to the other person what it is that you were doing to this person that came and saw me, and they didn't know that, or they didn't know how much of an impact it made on them. But the workplace is cohesive now, so that re-sparks my passion. Well, not necessarily passion, but it makes me want to come back the next day. I wish I can be careful what you ask for, but I wish I can have those elements every day. Right.
It's exhausting. You don't want that.
I don't want that. I don't, but I wish I can. I wish something every day would motivate me, like someone coming into my office with a complaint. That's what I meant.
But, well, Chris, what if you didn't see them as complaints? Like it's almost like, what if you didn't see someone coming in for treatment or an overdose death? If I opened a file and I didn't see it as an overdose death, if I didn't see it as an addict who couldn't control their behavior, right? If you didn't see it as a complainant, but what if you saw it as someone needing to be heard?
Yeah,
Um,
I should. Yeah, I shouldn't have used the word complainant,
I fucking
but
hate
yes.
that. It's kind of like I hate the word addict. It's just, if you just, what if what if it's thinking, or maybe it's just you need a fucking break. Because
Mm-hmm.
I think we can burn out. Helpers can burn out, and I felt myself burning out. I'm like sitting on the floor of my office crying.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Whoa! Like you can only help so much.
Right. And we're in the
Um,
field to where people aren't necessarily helping us too often. We're usually the ones helping people.
yeah, we're the ones who burn out, and we just assume that we're okay because we're surrounded by mental health clinicians, and we've got the SARC next door, and everyone's got these degrees and
Mm-hmm.
this training. I mean, certainly we know what we're doing, right?
Yeah. So talk about your project. So you say you're working on a what'd you call it? Hold on. The drug overdose death research.
Yeah, I can't talk too much about it, but I mean, I
Okay.
can talk generally about it. So, I mean, every state is looking for trends and similarities in the decedents associated with drug overdoses, right? And then from that research, coming up with policy recommendations or recommendations for communities to prevent drug overdose deaths. Like, where are the touch points? Where do we miss? What are the similarities in these decedents' socioeconomic class, race? Um, uh, what kind of work were they in? What are the similarities that we see across? What's the distribution looking like, right? What's the averages? Where can we focus our attention to help save some lives?
Mm.
And so that's kind of what we're doing is we're looking at those factors and making comparisons and then sharing those ideas across the nation and trying to come up with the best practice.
Good old Jenny Jan, always helping somebody, always trying to figure some better ways out to do stuff.
I gotta take a break though. Like these next 5 days while I'm on leave, I gotta chill. Like I'm just gonna sit on the water with my kayak and just like jam out some music. You know, sip on a little something, you know.
Yeah. What's your go-to drink these days?
So I don't drink often. I'm gonna put that out there.
Okay.
I do. I'm kind of a bro. I'm a little bit of a bro.
You're a little bit of a bro?
Like a Jack and Coke usually.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah. Or just a nice whiskey. Like I usually just go, man, well, give me the most expensive thing you have. You know? Yeah. But
man, we should have took drinks for the podcast. There's this whiskey.
Here, I can't be. Yeah. What time is it there?
Oh, yeah, it is the morning. It's 7:30 p.m.
7:30 p.m. where you are. You're in the UK, but what part?
So in the Midlands area. So about an hour and a half north of London. Northwest of London.
How much longer are you stationed there?
Who knows, man? So I'm going through some things right now, medical wise. So your boy might be separating here a lot earlier than I planned. But on the books, I'm here till 22.
Okay. How many years do you have? Just curious.
In
the Air Force.
11. Still a baby. Ish.
Well, I mean, I can say I've been in for 16, but active duty time I've been in for 6. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I'm not one of those people to where, you know, some people that get over the hump and they feel like they're dedicated to another 10 more years. That's not me. Yeah,
and you're in a role in the military where your job is incredibly valuable.
On the civilian side, right? Yeah, so I'm not nervous or worried about being separated or retired or whatever. I'm fine. I'll be fine.
United States, or do you think you'll stay put in Europe?
I would love to stay in Europe. Like I would love to live in Germany, Australia, the UK maybe, but the UK is a little strange. It's weird. It's more of a culture shock than what it was when I lived in Sicily. It's because we all speak the same language, right, over in the UK, but they use different words than we use. So still, even today, I've been over here for over 2 years now, still kind of get confused with things. But yeah, it's just different.
Can you give me an example of like one, not to put you on the spot, but like one term or whatever that just is a mismatch with?
Let's say I ask someone vacuum my trunk if I go get my car valet, or that's another one, getting your car valet. That means getting your car washed out here, right? Yeah, they call it valet service, and that means getting your car washed. I would say, can you vacuum my trunk? They'll look at you like you're crazy. Like, what does that mean? Then the word that they use is boot. Can you clean the boot?
Can you clean the boots with a T?
The boot of my car, yes. BOOT.
Boots of my car.
Yeah. I think the hood is still the same, but the boot.
I'm going to say that to friend girl. Can you clean the boots of my car?
Just boot, no S. Boot.
Can you clean my car, please?
Yeah.
If you consent, you will clean the boots.
Yeah. Can you valet my car and make sure you get the boots?
I love it.
Do not miss the boot. Yeah. So, Jen.
Chris.
Let's take a deep dive.
Yes, I like dives.
So you said early in the beginning of the podcast that you were going through a divorce at the time when I met you back in, when I saw you again in DC. So there's plenty of people. We have people come on all the time too to talk about what divorces and stuff, or how they went through their divorce, or what happened during their divorce. You don't necessarily talk about why you got a divorce, but I feel that if you kind of explain to our guests, or not our guest, our audience, on what they did or what you did as far as to get over your divorce and how the process of trying to overcome that mentally, I think it'll help them out a lot. So do you mind telling your story?
Not at all. Yeah. So divorce is interesting. First of all, I like to say it's I learned that it is a form of disenfranchised grief, kind of like losing a dog. Like people don't like to hear about your divorce in our society. It's like, oh, divorce. You're not over it yet? It's been 3 years. Oh, your dog died? Over it? It's been a week, bitch. Get over it, right?
Yeah.
So that's disenfranchised grief. And it's another stigma. It's super interesting. So I like to talk about it. I like to talk about it openly, and I like to normalize the discussion. So I'm going to normalize it here. Yeah. So how did I not get over my divorce? How did I get through my divorce?
Okay.
It was it fucking sucked. I was like withdrawing from heroin, I imagine, except I wasn't shitting my pants. Actually, I was shitting my pants.
Okay.
You wait, you know, your appetite changes. It's like detoxing off of drugs. I mean, you're when you're in love with someone, you know, you're comfortable. You get that shot of dopamine. Everything in life is so predictable. You know when your next shot is, and it's just this constant reinforcement in your life. You know that things are okay at home, your kid's good, like you can fucking deploy, and everything at home is dress right dress, especially. And so when that was taken, and I felt like it was taken from me, and while I was in Qatar, like everything just stopped.
Yeah.
And luckily for me, my therapist was in Germany. She was working in Germany as an MFLAC. And luckily for me, I had FaceTime. And so I was able, and I had civilian insurance, because there was no way in hell I was going to tell the military I had a therapist, because we all know about the stigma around that, which is the next social issue I'll be attacking. And so getting through it meant surrounding myself with support. It meant my roommate in Qatar bringing me a Subway so I could eat that day. It meant like Brian, Urban, like watching basketball at the freaking bar with Brian and the chaplain assistants. It was just getting through every day.
Yeah.
And so once I got through the day, then at some point I started getting through the month. And then at some point I started to treat it like I did, like I would an addiction. Okay. And that's where the magic happened. Because I remembered sitting with clients and saying, okay, you have to expose yourself to the needle. You have to expose yourself to the spoon. It's Pavlovian science. If you just avoid the spoon, if you avoid bars, if you avoid these things, then how can you ever desensitize to it? So I began exposing myself to my ex-wife. I had to. So I'd come around, I would see her with her new partner. Okay. I would smile, be kind. I would sit through, I'd cry. I wouldn't avoid. I would look at her picture. I would talk about it with my therapist. I'd write her. And eventually it just didn't hurt so much because I didn't avoid it.
Yeah.
And so that drug just didn't affect me as much as it did. So I could go to a bar and not have a drink, because I constantly was around that drink. Yeah. And my son was able to see me go to Mama Cole and say, hey, how are you? I brought you a Mother's Day gift. How are things going through your life? And I think that was where the healing happened, was when I was able to just expose myself to the stressor, cope with it, move through it, talk about it. And then when life sucked, call a friend, call my therapist, cry, Yeah. It took 2 years.
I think that's going to help out a lot of people too. Because you don't ever think of people automatically want to go to the avoidance stage, right?
Oh, I did the avoidance. Oh, trust you me. That you know what that is? That's checking out. That's checking. And if you're not checking out, you're not checking in. And it takes longer to heal.
Yeah. But I think that's why some people take so long, is because they never do what you did and actually face the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they constantly in that avoidance state. I have friends that are in divorces still, and they don't want to talk about it. They don't have nothing to do with it, and I think they think that, and they may be over it at this point because it's been so long. But I wonder how much longer it would have actually taken if they did what you did and actually dive into the problem.
You can
Yeah.
prolong the healing process, and I think I did prolong mine. I did a lot of avoiding. I did a lot of drinking. I did a lot of, a lot of avoidance. But at some point, you wake up in a bad situation and you say, okay,
Yeah.
that's not the way to do this.
You remind me of this meme that I saw maybe a day or two ago about how I'm praying for my friends that are going through something that they aren't telling me about. And I didn't know until we actually talk about you coming on the podcast that you were going through a divorce or that you went through one. Because I don't know. Well, I guess we've been social media friends for pretty much since we met. But I guess I just never really paid attention because.
Well, I didn't say anything. I was quiet because of what Drake said. Remember what Drake said?
What did Drake say?
Drake said, sorry.
Look at you. Drake said.
A wise man once said, nothing at all. And so when my shit was on fire and I came home from deployment, my garage was full of my wife's shit and like the Tinder stuff and like all the shit was on fire. Drake said, a wise man once said nothing at all. And so I remained quiet while I was being put on blast on social media and while I was losing friends over the divorce. And I just stayed quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And needed to. So it wasn't until 2 years in where I posted something about just thanking my support system and thanking my Al-Anon family group. And yeah, you just have to fucking shut up at some point. Carefully reintegrate when you're ready, because if you're typing when you're mad, you're gonna fuck up.
That's true. Even so I don't know. So I don't know if you pay attention to my Facebook page, but I never post anything serious on Facebook. So, but there's times where I get to the point where someone pisses me off that day and I start writing stuff. Then I almost press post. I'm like, no, let's take this off. This isn't.
Put it up and then take it down later.
Normally if I put something up, I'll keep it up. But I think, I'm like that. But I don't, I try not to post anything negative these days. Or if I do post something negative, it's in a condescending way to where I posted a picture. I talked about this meme. I made a meme and it was about the what was it about? It was about the riots, right? So I posted a picture of Candy. It's hard to explain it right now, but I tried.
Picture of you.
You taking a picture of me?
1, 2, 3. Oh, wait. Okay, got it.
Got it?
Yeah. I had to get your consent. Okay.
Yeah.
Posted something about the riot. We're going back to it. Sorry.
I forget what it was. But anyways, I posted a picture. So no, someone posted a picture about this meme. There was a popular meme going around or whatever. I pretty much took that same caption and put it on a goofy picture, and it went over everyone's head. But I need to go back and find it because now I'm kind of pissed that I can't really recall it. I talked about it before too, but what I'm getting at is I try to keep my personal feelings off social media for the most part. And they come out on the podcast every once in a while, but it does take a different. I don't know. I don't want to wish that on myself. I was going to say I wish I could be more transparent with people on social media, but.
Tricky being in the EO field, working that job, you got to be really careful about what you.
Yeah, you can only post highlights of your life, and that's what social media is for the most part. I don't
know. I feel like I can be me on Instagram, and I got to be a more careful, buttoned up version of myself on Facebook.
Yeah, I got 3 Instagram accounts or 4. Yeah, so I have the podcast one, I have the photography one, my fitness one, then I have a personal one, a private one that no one never sees. I guess you might be on my private. You might be in my private one too.
Is that the one where you post a lot of your shirtless photos.
No, that's my fitness one. You ass.
Oh, talk about posting and take it down. I was like, show an ab photo and then take it down 10 minutes later.
Did you do that?
I don't know if it's gonna see that and be like the EO lady.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, I forget because I never really worked with you, so I forget that you're the EO lady too. A lot
I
of my
mean,
friends, I forget that they're in EO actually, which I think those are the best ones.
isn't it scary though? Like if you post, like, can't someone be like, "Hey, that's sexually explicit" or something? I don't know. I'm always afraid of like a sexual harassment charge. You know, when you work so many of them for the government, you start to look at yourself differently. Like, oh, can I get in trouble for that one?
Yeah,
You know,
I I don't know. I guess I just don't either. I don't care or it's not that serious.
you're like, I'm getting out anyway. So every day I take a 5 milligram pill and fuck it all.
Yeah,
And
I didn't know what pill you was about to say. You had me nervous for a second.
it all.
Like,
I mean,
am I about to get accused of taking steroids again? Take steroids. Oh look, Raven. Oh yeah. Oh shit, it's been almost an hour. Okay. So thanks for sharing your story, by the way. The last thing I want to talk to you about is your DJ. So when did you start getting into DJing?
oh yeah, 1996.
What the fuck? Were you 10, 11?
Parties, sixth grade pizza parties. So growing up in San Diego, I had a very diverse group of friends. My best Jonathan was a black boy. Can I say that? Is that offensive?
Was it a boy?
Yes, he's black. He's very black.
So he was a black boy?
Have more stories around that, but we don't have time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, and I don't want to turn my the bus.
I can't deal with you.
And Jonathan and I would sit by my little recorder and we would wait for the radio station, the local hip hop radio station, to play like the songs we liked. Fucking record it, stop, record. You know the whole drill.
I used to do that. That's funny.
It's great. I still in a different way, right? It's Spotify now. So so we'd make these little mixtapes, and then I probably was gay then too, because like I would make mixtapes and then I would
the girls. Yeah.
And then actually when I think back a little more, like even in like the 8th and 9th grade, like these girls would like give me kisses and stuff. Shit.
Yeah, you a goddamn player.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that out loud.
Out loud.
But one closet at a time. But so we would do that, and then I would like DJ our little pizza parties and stuff. And then when I really got my first turntable set was when I was an senior airman. And my mentor or supervisor was like, "Hey, my wife said that I need to grow up." So I sell these turntables and I need, are you interested? And I was like, yeah, I guess I'm kind of bored. I could learn something new. Okay. And that was it, dude. And then someone in the guard was like, "Do you want to DJ my wedding?" And I was like, okay.
You're nervous as hell, aren't you?
I just fucking DJ'd, and he gave me $300. I was like, huh, okay. And then I like looked at the spread in Anchorage and I was like, there's no women DJing. Oh, that's silly. Mm-hmm. Why not? And I just started. And then like all the guys here in Anchorage, like were like, we can teach you. And like I just started hanging out and made friends, and they teach me, because I mean, like, I'm not the best, and they teach me how to scratch. And
I remember when COVID first started, didn't you used to host parties like online?
Yeah, I did a couple of lives. That was before I started grad school.
Yeah, when you bring it, okay, you're in grad school. Well, I'm in grad school right now too. I hate that shit.
Yeah, it fucking sucks. It just like I'm starting to get like pimples and wrinkles from it, and I can't get Botox right now, so because of COVID. So I just grad school fucking my skin up.
Yeah.
And they're not compensating me for it. But let's save that for another discussion.
Yeah, I gotta so you have Spotify, you have like a playlist on Spotify now?
Every week I release a playlist. Like I have a couple businesses I make them for, and then just a couple people who DM me, like, please make another R&B one. And they're not that, I don't think they're wonderful, but they seem to like them. So.
Well, I'm sure you have a great taste in music, right?
That's what I've been told.
So you have a great taste in music and you know how to mesh them well. People are going to appreciate that.
I know. I got my little thing. I want to do some music today.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's my little setup. And then I just got a flat screen, so I'm going to mount it over here.
Okay.
And, so I can do like visual stuff. And yeah, I'm going to do a little bit of decorating before I go outside.
You hate outside.
I know, but my doctor says I should do it.
Yeah, you should. It keeps you young.
He said a caged animal is an anxious animal.
Okay, that works. So you mainly do weddings. You mainly DJ at weddings.
Mainly weddings. I started getting to the nightclub scene, and then COVID happened. So I was like rocking this club downtown, and then like I did one night at another like outdoor bar downtown, and then
COVID just fucking fell at everyone's footsteps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was supposed to do a show back in May 5th, I believe it was supposed to be. At a show that weekend. And COVID happened a couple months before, so all that money I spent on getting ready for a show went literally out the drain.
So do they do it online? Do you just flex on the screen?
No. So they actually did a couple competitions like that. They had like a posing contest online for people to, and there was like a prize winner or whatever, but I'm not ready for that. But I'll start prep again this weekend. So doing a 12-week prep, so a 3-month prep. So we'll see how that goes.
It's like your body is your hobby, your body is your art, and it's interesting.
I enjoy it, and I fell in love with it back in like 2013, 2014, but I didn't start taking it seriously until I got here in the UK because it's very popular out here. So I probably, if I never came, I will say I appreciate that about the UK. If I've never came to the UK, I would have never jumped into fitness as deep as I have. So it's cool.
Follow David Goggins at all?
I have read his book. I do follow him, but he's just extreme. Like he's the person. Like I'll watch his videos that he posts on Facebook, and then I just feel like shit, he's cool, and I love his book was dope, and I think his whole get hard mentality is great, but that's not me.
Yeah, I wonder about where's his self-compassion? I there's some of the stuff I do agree with on his mindset. Obviously, it's gotten him very far. I mean, Navy SEALs trained 3 times, and he's got this incredible dedication, the amount of weight he's lost and everything.
Yeah.
I'm curious about his mental health, and I'm not judging David Goggins at all, but I would love to sit in a room with him and talk about his mental wellness and just how much compassion he has for himself. He doesn't seem to have a lot of compassion for himself. He's hard on himself.
See, that's the thing. I don't think he feels that because he talks about callousing his mind in the book, and maybe he is a totally different person if you got him behind closed doors and it was just you and him. Maybe he would pour a lot of things out because he's went through a lot of mental things, but him doing all those miles and stuff and running stuff, that might be his coping mechanism.
Yeah, I wonder what his girlfriend would say.
What his girlfriend?
I wonder what his girlfriend would say. It's like you have this, like I said, right in the beginning of this whole thing, you have this character that you play, and then you have who you are, when you're home, and the person who's laying next to you every night.
Yeah, that's true.
I wonder what she would say.
Put on those. Yeah. So we talked about my therapeutic thing. So the gym is my therapeutic thing. What is something that you do therapeutic every day?
I read a meditation. So I'm this is going to sound kind of geeky, but I'm a 12-stepper. I never thought I'd be a 12-stepper. And it's not AA.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's not Alcoholics Anonymous, but I do work the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous through a program called Al-Anon, which is for family members of people with addiction. Okay. So every morning, the thing that I do is, as I'm making my coffee, I read from the Al-Anon One Day at a Time book. ODAT is what they call it.
Okay.
Daily meditation. ODAT. It looks like a Bible, but it's not. It just says one day at a time.
Okay.
It's we meet once a week, and it's an anonymous group, and they happen all over the world, just like AA, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I read my daily meditation. I write. I just grab one thing that stood out for me, and then I'll write it in my journal, which is sitting right next to it.
Mm.
I also meet. One other thing I do is at the end of the day. So that's what I do in the morning. Then at the end of the day at 8 p.m., I log on to Zoom and I join an 8 at 8 meditation with someone I work with. She's a public health opioid specialist at the state, but she runs this every night at 8. My sister in Vegas logs on, and
wow.
And we just do it for 8 minutes. Fucking, we do tree poses and shit, and then we laugh. Sometimes we end up just having a beer together online, just depending on. And then we've been doing it since COVID started, and it's been really helpful.
Yeah. COVID sucks, right? But you find some crazy, like, there's some creative minds out there, and we start doing things that we probably would have never did if it wasn't for COVID. So you got to appreciate it a little bit.
I appreciate it every day.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it sucks and people are dying, unfortunately, but without COVID, we wouldn't have tapped into these other things that we're doing these days now.
Yeah. So. COVID made us stop in our footsteps and just like ground for a second and reflect. But it is scary. I mean, I've now had 2 family members test positive for COVID. So it's like, it's not real until it's fucking real.
You guys to hit home.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And that's, I'm not even going to say that because I don't want that to happen, but I was going to say it, for me, it has to hit home for me to start taking it a little bit more seriously than I am now. But I don't want to say that because, knock on wood, but shit happens.
Your heart stops. Like when your family member sends you a positive test result, like it hits different, man. It fucking hits. Okay.
Well, Jen, we are at the end of the road.
No.
for this episode. So like we said, it's episode 49. And why did we do episode 49?
We're in the 49th state.
We're in the 49th state for this episode in Alaska. So Alaska is the 49th state. And I did not know that until Jen told me that. So Jen, you've been educating me this whole episode.
You educated me too.
Oh, probably as much as you did for me. I want to appreciate you for opening up your bag and dumping it on the podcast for us. Takes a lot of courage to do that, but I know that you're a dope individual. I love everything that you're doing. I love the passion that you have for people. You're one of the, I don't want to say few friends, but you're one of the friends that I can count on that's going to always be successful, and someone that I feel like if I was going through something, I would feel comfortable talking to you about it. And I hope that you're okay with that.
Totally. Yeah. My job is to keep secrets. So.
Yeah. Okay.
I got it. Come to me with any of your secrets and they're safe with me.
Yeah. I wish Raven would have came home. What is she out there doing? I wanted you to meet her. Meet the wifey.
Tell her and I hope she's safe out there in London.
Well, she better be back because, especially in London, because COVID out there is real out there.
Tell her not to shit home. Don't be bringing that shit home.
I told her, man, she's gonna have to sleep outside for 14 days. Sleep in her car. She has a big car. She'll be all right. I'll throw a blanket or something out there.
I'm proud of you guys for making it through. A lot of couples aren't doing too well right now. So
Okay. Yeah. I will say this. I know we're trying to wrap this up, but I will say this. And it sounds really fucked up when you say it, but I realize that I love my wife and that me and Raven are probably going to, or that we're going to last forever because of this COVID thing. Like, we were not necessarily on top of each other for the whole lockdown thing, but we didn't really get tired of each other.
it's good. To say that I've been coaching a couple friends through their couples drama, and just like, please don't kill your spouse today. Go take.
Yeah. I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous. I was like, dang, we gotta wake up and look at each other every morning and hang out every day. It's just me and you. Can't invite no one over to our house or anything like that. It's just us. I'm probably gonna get tired of you. And it didn't really happen.
That's good.
Yeah. All right. All right, Jen, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got things to do.
Okay. One of those things is gonna be to send you a design, and then I'm gonna go on the kayak.
Okay. Okay, cool. What is it, 11 o'clock there now? 11:05? Mm-hmm. All right, Jen. Well, I appreciate you. This is it. This has been another. Thanks. This has been another episode of Puppet Therapy Podcast with your host, Chris. All right, y'all. Peace.